General Jack Keane is with me now. And General, good morning to you. We begin a brand new week here. It appears that Putin's army has not, yes, they continue to hit different parts of the country. They have not achieved acquiring more territory, generally speaking. How do you see the battlefield today, General?
Yeah, well, what they've done over the weekend, Bill, is they increased the level of war and violence against civilians. There's no doubt about it. But they've made absolutely no territorial gains against the Ukrainian military over the weekend. And they have expanded the war, as they said on the weekend, that they would begin to attack those who are resupplying and the resupply lanes into Ukraine. And so that's what that so-called training base is about. I don't think the Russians care that it was a training base in the past. They care that it's a staging base for resupply. That is why they hit it. And they will certainly try to interdict other routes of resupply that have taken place coming into Ukraine. So for our audience to understand, Americans are involved in a resupply on the Polish side of the border, but are not involved in the resupply, nor are any NATO nations involved in any resupply activities on the Ukrainian side of the border.
General, there continues to be calls to arm up Ukraine. Lindsey Graham with Maria just on Sunday morning. Roll this first. Watch.
The Biden administration stopped that transfer. 1 minute they're saying they're not using the planes we have, but if we give them more, it'd be World War III. So what happened is that Putin threatened Biden, and he folded like a cheap suit. Give them the planes.
I don't know if they're going to get the planes in time, General. We'll see. Wall Street Journal editorial board. Russia's war gets closer to NATO. Putin is exploiting Biden's red lines against U.S. involvement. That has to do with the hit on the military base there near the Polish border. How do you see this, sir? And are we ready for it if it comes to that?
Well, what Putin is saber-rattling, and he's trying to get inside our head, certainly, and I think to some degree he has, threatening an escalation of the war with NATO. Just think about that. Putin's got the better part of his army in Ukraine, and they're struggling. They're not making progress. And he's going to go to war with NATO without outguns him, outmans him, outfinances him 4 to 5 to 1. Don't think so. He's also threatening the use of WMD. He's doing this because he wants to paralyze the Biden administration from increasing their support, obviously, to the Ukrainians, and also to back off on the sanctions. We got to stand up to this. Obama and Biden have the same problem. They get paralyzed by the fear of adverse consequence. And in this case, it's escalation. You've got to have some spine to deal with the threats of an adversary like Putin, who uses force and obviously is a barbarian and brutal in killing civilians. But you have to stand up to him, not just what we're doing in terms of providing support, but also stand up to him in terms of our own rhetoric in dealing with his rhetoric. So I think that the MiG thing is a fiasco. Mm-hmm. I mean, the Poles manipulated us to trade in old MiGs for new F-16s. We couldn't give them those because they're going to Taiwan. We should have wire-brushed the Poles at that point and said, look at guys, if you want to continue to get the kind of aid from us that you want, you made a public declaration you're going to support the Ukrainians. We're going to hold you to that. Give them the airplanes. And that's where it should have ended, as opposed to this humiliation and fiasco we got into with Blinken saying, yes, it's a good deal, and then coming back later and saying, well, no, this could escalate.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
I have 15 seconds here. What is your level of confidence that you have in the Biden team that is in place right now, that has made decisions over the past 19 days? Sometimes they're head scratchers, as just you point out. How good is this team, do you think, sir?
Well, I give them some credit for certainly unifying the transatlantic alliance, bringing the world condemnation down on Russia. I think they've done a very good job releasing information about Russia intent, and I think at times thwarting that intent. But I don't think we've ever been all in to the degree that we should be in terms of arms and ammunitions they need right now. The Ukrainians need integrated air defense systems to deal with the aerial bombardments that's taken place, and we should be getting them to them. I'm hoping that we are. And I think we have to show even more determination and resolve in terms of dealing with Putin and his sort of inflammatory threats that he's making.
Yeah. General, thank you. From your lips, right? Jack Keane will speak many times this week. Thank you, sir, for coming on today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.